Hello, everybody. Uh, mm, Today we are going to talk about a prose lesson from your second semester of second year, the fringe benefits of failure and the power of imagination. And let me share my screen. Yeah. So welcome all of you to the Government Degree College CPP and the Department of English. Yeah, I am Mohammed Srinivas, lecturer in English. So this is today's topic. Uh, Harry Potter series writer J.K. Rowling has uh, given a wonderful speech, and this is the summary of the fringe benefits of failure and the importance of imagination. Of course, a little introduction about the author. J.K. Rowling was born in the year 1965, and she is a British novelist, a screenwriter, and also a film producer. And in 1999, she has first published her Harry Potter, the first book of her series, and later another six books were also published in the same series, and that was very popular, and millions of copies were sold throughout the world, and ultimately it came in the form of a blockbuster movie, and this has brought J.K. Rowling a lot of money, and she has become one of the richest women with 700 million pounds. And the greatness of J.K. Rowling is she is a very benevolent lady, donated a large sums of money towards charities. From rags to the riches, her journey of life took place. So that's the reason why it has become a source of inspiration for young students like you. So when you go for the fringe benefits of failure and imagination, she talks about two things. One is the fear of failure, the failure, and the benefits of failure, and also the power of imagination. The whole lesson is a speech delivered at Harvard University on 5th July 2008 at a graduation ceremony. She was called as the chief speaker of the day, so she delivered the speech. So as I told you that the lesson it talks about two important things. One is the benefits of failure, the other is the importance of imagination. So she begins her speech like saying that delivering a commencement address is a great responsibility. So she did not just went and spoke, but she had made a lot of preparation for that. She felt that it is very responsible job. So she went back to her own graduation days, wherein she listened the graduation ceremony speech of that particular year, but she was unable to remember anything now. So she thought that she wanted to give the best lesson or best message to the students so that they could take home some message so that they can implement in their lives. On the wonderful day when we were gathered together to celebrate your academic success, I have decided to talk to you about the benefits of failure. It is something strange. So when the students are in a happy mood, when they are celebrating their academic success, and instead of talking about the secrets of success and all that, she did not. And she took up the topic called benefits of failure, and students from Harvard universities, they're all gems. They are all very well in their studies, but they have not ever encountered great a failure in their lives. So she thought it is a befitting occasion for her to speak about the benefits of failure. And as you stand on the threshold of what is sometimes called real life, I want to extol the crucial importance of imagination. Since the students are stepping out of the university to the real life, so they may find failures in their real life because failures are a part of the life. So whenever they encounter a failure, how they should take it and what lesson that they should learn. and how they take it as an advantage, and also what is the power of importance. These two things J.K. Rowling wants to see speak in her inaugural speech. Then I was convinced that the only thing I wanted to do ever was to write novels. So she went back to her own days, wherein she wanted to see, think of what happened in her life. So I was convinced that the only thing I wanted to do ever was to write novels. So her ambition was to write novels. And however, her parents, both of them, mother and father, both of them, came from a very poor background, and they never attended a school in their life. So, being see not well educated and they hail from a poor background, they wanted that their child J.K. Rowling should go for a vocational degree. So, but J.K. Rowling was interested in English literature. So our parents later they have come to a conclusion that she will be joining the modern language like Greek, but uh, she took J.K. Rowling, since she was very much interested in English literature, wanted to establish herself as a novelist. So she took English literature despite the suggestion of her parents. So she did not disclose this thing to her parents at all. And the last day, that is this presentation day of the graduation, their parents come to know that no, she is not from classics, but she took up English literature as her career. So what is worried? What is the worry of their parents is, if she takes a vocational degree, certainly she could earn some money, and so that she can live on her own. That was the parents' opinion. Then see, she did not blame her parents at all. So she was very clear, and as youngsters, you should also take this as a note. So what she said is, there is an expiry date on blaming your parents for steering you in the wrong direction. The moment you are old enough to take the wheel, responsibility lies with you. That means there is a certain time. Till then, your parents will take a decision. For all these things, you should not blame your parents. Parents all the time thinks about your own future. So whatever they do for your own benefit. Once you are aware of your own goal, and if you are moving in the direction, take up the whole responsibility. So she did not blame her parents, because her parents were right, because they know poverty very well. So poverty entails fear, stress, and sometimes depression. People from poor backgrounds, they all the time undergo fear, they undergo stress, and even to the depression. It means a thousand petty humiliations and hardships. Poverty will see, give you number of hardships and many humiliations. Climbing out of poverty by your own efforts, that is indeed something on which to pride yourself, but poverty itself is romanticized only by fools. That means if you come out of, make effort and come out of your difficulties, hardships, so that you will get the success. That is really the meaning of the life. But some people, they romanticize the poverty, because it is only done by the fools. So what I feared most for myself at your age was not poverty but failure. So she says, I was not worried about the poverty, but I was worried about the failure. So she didn't care that though she has come from a poor background, she was advised by her parents to go for a vocational degree. But poverty does not affect her much, but she had a fear of failure. Suppose if she fails, what will happen? So this is the fear of failure that she had. And a mere 7 years after my graduation day, I had failed on an epic scale. An exceptionally short-lived marriage had imploded, and I was jobless, a lone parent, and as poor as it is possible to be in modern Britain without being homeless. So after graduation, she got married to a man, and their marriage was a failure. And she had a she has a son, and she has to live all alone. because she got divorced from her husband, and moreover she doesn't have a job at all, and being homeless in Britain, what terrible things she has to undergo, everybody knows. The fears that my parents had for me and that I had for myself had both comes to pass, and by every usual standard I was the biggest failure I knew. So her parents were worried about this only. So they have anticipated such things, and whatever they have anticipated, whatever J.K. Rowling's were worried about if she fails, that already took place, and she failed in an epic scale, and she has become the biggest failure in her life. So what she has learned from her own failures? Did she succumb to it and she end up her life, or did she come out of them by taking steps? Because she was jobless, she was really having no home of her own. Moreover, she has a child to take care of, and their married life was a failure. So she has faced all these difficulties, and she started analyzing herself how she can come out of it. So failure is not fun. How far and how long is not predictable. How long you will be under failure, how long you will be under troubles, and how far it may go is not predictable in one's life. So that's the reason you must get yourself ready for a failure, and also some the difficulties in your life. Don't know what time they may end. Don't know how many they have to face in their lives. So this is the journey of a failure, but don't think that it is a fun. And simply because failure means a stripping away of the relationship. So what is the biggest benefit of a failure is, the first biggest benefit of failure is, failure means a stripping away of the inessential. If you are a failure, you will come to know what is inessential in you, what is suitable, what is really workable. Only you will come to know. So you will come to know about what is not working and what is working, what is essential and what is not inessential. So when you are a failure, you will come to know that you can remove inessential things from your life. So that's what happened to J.K. Rowling also. Her early works were rejected by the people, and she started digging herself. Why my stories or my books were not big success in the market? She found out in her own writing that whatever is inessential, she started removing from them. So certainly, at the end, she has become a success. So I was still alive, and I still had a daughter whom I adored, and I had an old typewriter and a big idea. So in the present condition of J.K. Rowling, that means she is jobless. She has her marriage was a divorce. She has no home of her own and has to take care of the young girl. So in such a case, she has no assets with her. She has no investment with her also, except that she had a old typewriter with her. And what is the big idea? Because she is educated, she love literature very much. That is a big idea is there in her mind, and with a little old typewriter was there. This is only the assets that she had. With that, she has begun her journey, and with this only she started overcoming the failures in her life. And so rock bottom became the solid foundation on which I rebuilt myself. So she made up her mind, and on this solid foundation, she started rebuilding her life. So what she said is, some failure in life is inevitable. At any point of time, failure may come to you. You cannot escape from the failure. However successful you are, but failure is a part of your life. So some failure in life is inevitable. You cannot escape from that. It is impossible to live without failing at something. At somewhere or something, you must encounter a failure. Without a failure, you can't even enjoy the beauty of the success also. So failure is a part of your life. So she has made up her mind, and she strongly believes that failure is inevitable. So one only thing is she has to overcome it. So failure, since she started asking herself what kind of benefit she is going to get from the failure. So failure gave me an inner security. How can a failure be giving inner security? So failure taught me things about myself that I could have learned no other way. I discovered that I had a strong will and more discipline than I had suspected. So once she went deep into her own struggles, she started identifying that she had a strong will. In spite of several difficulties, she wanted to come out of it. So with a strong will, she had encountered them, she has faced them, and was success. So she realized that she had a strong will, and more discipline is required in order to get away from that difficulty. So more strenuous efforts are required, more disciplined way she has to move. So that also she has come to know. That I had suspected. She suspected that whether I am so much of discipline, whether I have so much of strong will with me, then later after she going through the difficult time, she understood that she had a strong will and a more discipline. And I also found out that I had friends whose value was truly above the price of rubies. That means you will come to know who is a friend and who is a foe when you are in trouble. The true friend is a friend who comes for your rescue when you are in trouble. So that's the reason why you can understand who is a real friend and who is a false friend. So I could able to know how many good friends that I have in my life. So this is also the failure also given me this opportunity to identify my good friends and also identify my inner strength. And this inner strength has given her in the inner security. The knowledge that you have emerged wiser and stronger from setbacks means that you are ever after secure in your ability to survive. That means the whatever you become wise, you become stronger from your setbacks. When you face failures, when you have overcome them, you become stronger and you will become see more energized and you become more wise also. What works and what does not work, you will come to know. So such knowledge is a true gift, and for all that it is painfully won, and it has been worth more than any qualification I ever earned. So what she said is that failure. See, going through this process is a really kind of education, and this qualification is really important and worth in life than the degrees that I earned in my see colleges and universities. So what she said is life is not a checklist of acquisition or achievement or your qualification of your CV. So we estimate the people's success through the number of qualifications that they have achieved and the number of credits that they have to their own CV. And this is not a life is not a checklist kind of things that it all speaks about your achievements, your great things. So life is a combination of both failure and also a success. So life should be like that. So life is difficult and complicated and beyond anybody's total control. All the time you may not say that you have every control, you have the control of your life. Sometimes it may not be, and the humility to know that will enable you to survive its necessity. That means if you are aware of this, then you will survive any kind of difficulties or whatever the life offers you, the challenges you will definitely get out of. So these are the benefits that she has successfully learned in her life, and they were proven to be the very successful principles of life and facing the troubles. Then the other part, the second part she talks about is the importance of imagination. As you all aware, man is supreme being because he has the power of imagination. If you compare human being with any of the creatures in the world, man is superior because he can think, he can analyze, he can have imagination and all that. So what she talks about imagination, why it is so important, let us go through. Imagination is not only the uniquely human capacity to envision that which is not, and therefore the fount of all invention and innovation. As we all aware that for every invention and for every innovation, the prime thing is imagination of the human being. So human beings have a unique capacity, unique potential of see envisioning see things, or see can imagine the things. So that way inventions and innovations took place. It is the power that enables us to empathize with humans whose experiences we have never shared. So it is the power that enable us to empathize with humans. So if you are imaginative, then only you can understand the troubles of others. You can also show empathy towards others. You can also experience the experiences of the others when you are imagining. So she spoke at length about her own experiences when she was working at Amnesty International, and every day she saw evidences about evils of humankind or inflicting pain on the fellow human beings, or for gain or maintaining the power. Then they began as nightmares, literal nightmares about some of the things I saw or done. So that way, she has the power of imagination. So she started empathizing with everything around. And yet, I also learned more about human goodness at Amnesty International than I had ever known before. So she could able to imagine the atrocities or the pain inflicted upon the poor people, the fellow human beings, either for power or for material progress. And at the same time, people who are having imagination can also see the goodness of human being. Both way it is possible. So that's the reason why if you are having imagination, you can sympathize with the people, and at the same time you can also think of the goodness of the human. So both things will happen with the power of imagination. So what was her work at the Amnesty International? She mobilizes thousands of people, ordinary people join together and huge numbers to save people they do not know and will never meet. So what is astonishing thing is people you see started donating liberally, coming to the rescue of the the inflicted the troubled people, and they don't know who they are and they don't know whom they are contributing for them, but they all came together with large hearts. This is the goodness of the human. My small participation in that process was one of the most humbling and inspiring experiences of my life. So, as she worked from the Amnesty International to help these people, and she has the first-hand experience of helping the people, understanding their difficulties, and also understanding the goodness of the human being. So because of this power of imagination, she could able to do them well. So unlike see what she made a comment here is, unlike any other creatures on this planet, humans can learn and understand without having experience. So one man's experience will be counted with the others. That means see, I need not experience everything in my life. Whatever is experienced by somebody else, with a little wisdom, I can also adopt in my life. I need not experience everything. Suppose if there is a fire, I need not touch and experience that, it will definitely catch the fire. Need not be. So one somebody's experience, somebody's learning, somebody's understanding will definitely helpful to the human beings. They need not undergo that process. They can think themselves into other people's places. That means they can be in the place of others. They can understand and they can say learn from them, from their own experiences in order. That means if you are imaginative, you can also understand the troubles of others. You can also help others. You can also be sympathetic. And you can also see, experience the difficulties of the others so that with your imagination, and so that take up the necessary steps. And many prefer not to exercise their imagination at all. So because they don't want to come out of their own happy zone, the safe zone, so they don't exercise their imagination. They can close their minds and hearts to any suffering that does not touch them personally. They can refuse to know. They don't want to listen because they are well off. They have no suffering at all. They don't want to listen to the minds and hearts of the suffering people. I might be tempted to envy people who can live that way, except that I do not think they have any fewer nightmare than I do. So people who are keeping themselves away from see understanding the people, see with them more and more empathy and all that, they feel that they are safe. Instead of taking the trouble of see, experiencing all their difficulties through their imagination, they become nightmares. So they don't want to do that. But I have a question that whether they are really happy. No, they too have the nightmares like the people who are suffering. Choosing to live in narrow spaces leads to a form of mental agoraphobia, and that brings its own terrors. I think the willfully unimaginative see more monsters. They are often more afraid. That means those who wanted to keep themselves away from that, those who do not have the imaginative power at all, they see more monsters because they see several other things. They are not empathetic. They don't have the power of imagination. That's why they see more monsters than the people really facing the difficulties in their lives. They say they undergo a kind of mental agoraphobia. So they are often more afraid than the people who are suffering. So the Greek philosopher Plutarch said, "What we achieve inwardly will change outer reality." So what we have achieved inwardly has an effect on the outer reality. But how much more are you Harvard graduates of 2018? She gave speech in the year 2018, and she was addressing the Harvard graduates about how much of you are likely to touch other people's lives because they are all well educated. They came up from the see better families, received good education, right? They have and they can earn a name and fame and material progress. They enjoy unique status, and they also are having unique responsibilities. Even nationality sets apart. The greater majority of them belong to the world's only remaining superpower, because students coming out of the Harvard University will definitely settle in a good places, and they are going to be the superpower. So their ideas and their own responsibilities, their unique status, their education really influence all walks of life. The way you vote, the way you live, the way you protest, the pressure you bring to bear on your government has an impact way beyond your borders. That is your privilege and your burden. So she said, you are very strong people, and you can see even influence the governments in taking up the laws or in implementing them or giving them a vision. And at the same time, you are not limited to your own country or your own territory, but you goes beyond borders. You become a world class people. So you whatever you have taken the decision is going to implement in the entire world. So that is your privilege. And again I told you, she told that that is a burden also, because the burden has come only from the responsibility. That is the through their imagination the burden has come. So if you choose to use your status and influence to raise your voice on behalf of those who have no voice at all, if we choose to identify not only with the powerful but with the powerless, if you retain the ability to imagine yourself into the lives of those who do not have your advantages, then it will not only be your proud families who celebrate your existence, but thousands and millions of people whose reality you have helped change. So your voice is bigger than the voice of the poor. You are more powerful than the power of the see disadvantaged sections of the world. So you are going to see how several advantages, and when you do something advantageous for the poor or the those who are in suffering, and raise their see, levels in the world, then definitely your families will feel proud about yourself. They celebrate your existence, and not only that, but thousands and millions of people whose reality you have helped change. So you are going to bring a change in this world with your the imagination, imaginative power. So if you are having the imagination, so if you are see empathizing with others, if you are see visualizing the reality of the others, then definitely you are going to make efforts to elevate, and you are so powerful as students of Harvard University. And since you are going to be placed in high place, high positions, and you are going to rule the world, you are going to influence the governments. You are going to make a big difference through your business, through your imagination, through your activities. So J.K. Rowling appealed that if you are really doing something for the people who have no voice and the people who are powerless, then certainly your life will become a celebration, and moreover, you are going to bring a considerable change in this world. So that is her appeal to all the students who are passing out to Harvard University. What she said is, we do not need magic to change the world. We carry all the power we need inside ourselves already. We have the power to imagine better. So you need not do any magic to this world. But the only thing is, if you are having the power of imagination already there in your mind, and if you are using them for the benefit of others, certainly the world is going to become a better place. So both things he talked about how failure is going to help you in all the ways possible. And when you are having the imagination, she was talking about the importance of imagination. When you are having imagination, what big things that you can do in your life. The friends with whom I sat on graduation day have been my friends for life. She was just remembering her own graduation days, where on the graduation day she sat along with her own friends, and those friends are friends in her life forever. That means she has very good friends. She had very good friends at Harvard University. Later, also in her life, they proved to be good friends. So she said, "You are also going to have this many good friends in your life, and tomorrow, I hope that even if you remember not a single word of mine, you remember those of Seneca, ancient wisdom." That means uh, J.K. Rowling in her inaugural in the beginning itself, she told, "I just don't want to give any message, but I worked on it. I see made effort in delivering this beautiful speech so that something you can take home as a message." So she said, "You may not remember a single word of mine in the future. Maybe after 10 years, 15 years later, you may not remember my speech, but you can take home the wisdom from my own message." She was remembering from the Seneca about the ancient wisdom, and she was moving in the corridors of Harvard University during her studies of English literature at Harvard University. And the wisdom is, as it's a tale, so is life. Life is like a tale. So whatever things that have come up in the tale, the same things you can also see in your life. Not how long it is, but how good it is. How long the tale is, how big the tale is, how short the tale is, that doesn't matter. But how good it is what matters. That means how long you live is not the matter, but how good you live in this world is really a matter. With these concluding words, she ended her speech, and the speech was so powerful, electric in their effect, and the students were very much mesmerized by her talk, motivated from her talk, and later the speech has come in the form of in the form of a book. It was present in the book. So uh, till then, many viewers see they took inspiration from our own speech. So really, these two things we have learned from our own speech, uh, very interesting and moreover thought-provoking things that we have come across. So the take-home message is: whenever you encounter a failure, it has its own advantages. Life is both a mixture of success and a failure. When you are a failure, you will be able to know the strength of you, and you will be able to get more and more confidence and more self-esteem. You will be facing them, and certainly you are going to get a success. And you should also understand the importance of imagination, because imagination will also work well. See, and so that we can make our life much more meaningful. So this is the gist of the lesson, and let me share one more item. The J.K. Rowling's speech, actual speech, which was a recorded one. You can get it in the internet. So if you just browse J.K. Rowling's magical Harvard speech, then you will come across this. And if you are listening to her directly, is really good experience. So, dear students, see, I advise you, all of you, to go to the internet, download J.K. Rowling's Fringe Benefits of Failure, and certainly go through it several times so that it will definitely see has a lot of influence. Thank you very much.